What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back here on PlayStation Source, and we are back here with another episode of Road to Part 2, the weekly Last of Us podcast about any and all things Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2 here on PlayStation Source. And with me, of course, my luxurious co-host, Arachknight. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know what? Honestly, I'm kind of not. Here's why. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning, Thursday, May 7th, as we are recording this fine podcast. And earlier today at like 7:30 in the morning, I was up with Christian over on JoyClicks streaming the Xbox event. You know what I'm saying? So that was, pretty cool. It is what it is, right? And then right after the stream, my tummy started to feel a little bit upset. You know what I'm saying? I was like, my boy, what's wrong? Because I usually have the coffee, I have the banana, I have some eggs in the morning. It's the usual platter that I have for breakfast, but the tummy just started acting up all day. So it wasn't until literally like 15 minutes ago that I got up out of bed after the stream. I don't know, man. Your boy's out for the count. I don't know what's going on. Hate to see it. Truly. But how are you, good sir? How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Do you have any tummy aches that you want to share with the class?
Jack in the Box. I was down for the count. Yesterday.
Oh no!
Wanted some chicken nuggies, like some spicy chicken nuggets, like popcorn chicken kind of deal.
Okay.
And I was like, these are pretty good. And then I was just playing Modern Warfare, and I was like, wow, this is not a vibe. Like,
this is a situation.
Yeah.
But my tummy about to go to the gulag and see if it can survive. Shit.
Yeah, no, it was not fun.
Damn.
Yeah, but
sorry,
you go.
I mean, I was gonna make a side note about Jack in the Box because I will defend Jack in the Box not as a restaurant, but for their curly fries.
Facts.
Those curly fries be slapping, absolutely. But
they're expensive.
Yeah, they are, but they are good. I mean, I don't get Jack in the Box often, you know what I'm saying? But it's funny how you mentioned the nugget. And are they like popcorn chicken nuggets? Like, are they in the form factor of a popcorn chicken?
Yeah, no, they have new popcorn chicken things over there. Like, you can spicy or regular.
Interesting. Because I'm of the thought that McDonald's still has the greatest chicken nuggets you can buy on the market.
Agreed. Facts.
Like, I mean, the McDonald's chicken nugget is literally perfect. Like, people told me, oh, the Chick-fil-A spicy nuggets are good, the Wendy's spicy nuggets are good. I'm like, nah. Like, I have tried the Chick-fil-A ones. Like, they're good, but they're not the nice crispy, you get them right out of the fryer McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Chick-fil-A does hit different though. Like,
it does hit different. You right.
I honestly forgot Chick-fil-A was a fast food restaurant. Like, the jump in quality is just like, I don't know.
I mean, you're not wrong, but what else have you been playing? We're just talking about it for the first 3 minutes. People are gonna be mad. But what games have you been playing, Arachknight, this week? You've been playing some stuffy stuff.
Yeah, I have been playing video games. Well, if I can, with I'm still in school, so it's finals week.
Oh man, dude, is everything going well though with your finals? Hopefully.
A's and B's.
Hey, that's what I've been always an A's and B's type student.
Yeah.
The last C I ever got was second quarter of the 7th grade in middle school, because that was winter break and I got grounded for getting a C.
I
remember the last time.
I've only ever gotten a C, because Spider-Man PS4 came out.
Honestly, that one's a good excuse though.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse.
But playing from Final Fantasy VII still, taking my sweet time.
Do you know which chapter you're
on? 16.
Oh my god, we're on the same chapter, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, things are heating
near
up.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel it going to the end, and I've Like I don't want it to end, bro.
I know.
I don't know what to do.
It's gonna be like at least another few years before chapter 2.
I know, man. It's like, oh man, but I've been loving it. I'm sure you were loving it as well.
Oh yeah, it's my game of the year.
So far, it's my game of the year as well. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a chance. I mean, I feel like the only ones that I could see beating it are, I think Last of Us Part 2 has a good chance of beating it. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm gonna have to see more. I am heavily anticipating it, but we're gonna have to see more of that. Cyberpunk 2077 is an interesting pick because like I think it does have the chops to be game of the year for me, but I'm just afraid of that game's size. Like that thing gonna be long, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like pause, but like it's gonna be a long game. So
like The Witcher, like my very first playthrough of The Witcher with the DLCs because I bought it a few years late. It took me like 100 hours.
Yeah, like a homie over here don't have 100. I mean, now I have 100 hours. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I mean, if we're still, I mean, heaven forbid, but we'll see, right? Like if we're still in this, in these quarantine times, I may have time to beat Cyberpunk 2077, maybe, but
I stay up too late. Like if there's a game I'm really into and I got class at like 8, I'll play until like 4 a.m.
Oh man, you see, no, I like force myself to stop if it's like a school night. I mean, back when I was in school,
Right.
And like, well, I mean, like I did last night too. I was playing Final Fantasy 7. I was like, Kev, like it's 1 a.m. You really gotta go to bed. You gotta be up at 7:30 tomorrow for this stream. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I like have to parent myself sometimes, but it's very unfortunate.
If like for situations like that, it's like, all right, I gotta be up at 7. It's fine, but like if I don't sleep enough, I'll be awake for the stream, and then I'll just take a nap when I'm done.
You
And
see,
it's just like
yeah,
that would be my mentality.
honestly, because I could have done that because I wasn't doing anything from after the stream until now, and this is when we usually record on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Probably should have done it, but oh well. I digress. Anything else you've been playing besides Final Fantasy 7?
Just a lot of Modern Warfare.
A lot of Modern Warfare. I feel that.
Yeah, double XP weekends. Like last weekend was a double XP weekend. Now this weekend's a double XP weekend.
That's hot. That's hot. That's
you go.
No, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Oh no. All I was gonna say is I'm trying to get all the gun challenges, like gold every gun and stuff like that.
Are you gonna go for obsidian camo?
Yeah, like the Damascus thing was like, yeah, we, my friend and I have been playing a ton. Like, we've already got all of the guns leveled up to max, and now all we're going to do are the challenges.
Nice. I feel that. Very, very good. Me, obviously, so Final Fantasy 7. I've been loving it. I'm now planning on what's my next JRPG after this, right? Because I do want to kind of explore that genre and play more of it, right?
Persona.
So I think I said that I was definitely gonna beat Final Fantasy 7, the original Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, after this remake, but now that like I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait and save that experience for maybe sometime in the summertime or sometime later this year. I think I'm gonna save that experience for like another time, right?
Okay.
But I've been eyeing two things. I mean, I don't know. I've been eyeing two things. Well, I feel like it's gonna end up being Persona 4 Golden on the Vita because I would like to play Persona 5 Royal, but my PS4 time is gonna be taken up with God of War as well, getting through that, as well as Last of Us as well. You know, so juggling all those and like, I don't know. I've been dying to play Odyssey 2 as well to get into the DLC for that game after I finish the DLC of Division 2, but my Vita is just chilling there. It's not being played at all right now, you know? So I figure why not?
Resting.
Huh?
It's resting.
Yeah. So I figure why not, summon it like Ifrit, however you say his name, you know what I'm saying? And load up Persona 4 on that, and maybe before I go to bed, knock out a few hours of it, you know what I'm saying? When I'm chilling with the homies,
Ignore them and play Persona.
Well, because when I'm with the homies, right, it's not like ignore thing. It's more of like all right, like when like everyone settles down and like a movie's on and we're all just on our phones chilling. That's when I would pop out my Switch and play some Animal Crossing. I'd pop out X game and just play that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not like in like like I'm gonna ignore everyone, but you know more when we're just chilling, you know, hanging out. I could have the Vita on deck, you know.
True.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. But I've also been playing Division 2, as I said before, Warlords of New York. Doing good there. Still chugging. Still a great game. No surprises there. So, good ups for that. But also, we've both been playing another game, The Last of Us. But we're gonna do that topic after we talk about the new trailer, right? So The Last of Us Part 2 did get the dubbed official story trailer for the game.
Right.
And I think of things to note about this release was that they were very vocal when they tweeted out this trailer, like, hey, don't look in the comments. The comments were disabled as well on the actual trailer, and like a lot of things were, you know, hidden from everyone, of course, due to the leaks. But what's your like just surface level impressions of this trailer? Like, what did you think of it?
I thought it was fine. Like,
Oh, that was a pregnant pause. I was like, is he okay? I was like, hello.
no, I was just trying to articulate it in a way that makes me still seem like interested, because I'm still interested in the story and all that.
You're like,
but
yo, this shit was trash.
No, it's just like we've kind of already seen all that already.
Yeah, I mean, that's what honestly made me more excited for the game. In a way, you know what I'm saying? Because like I don't want to see more. Like if I were given the choice, like, hey, do you want a trailer or not? I would rather not have a trailer. Like, I appreciate this trailer, you know? And, of course, our reactions are up on the channel. Make sure to go check that out as well. But I definitely didn't need this trailer, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the homie Tajay, like, he had a very, very emotional reaction to the trailer, which is, like, I'm happy to see it. Like, I love it when people are into, like, stories like this.
Right.
And get, like, personally like affected by it,
moved. Yeah.
So like I watched his reaction, I watched the trailer on my own, and it's just like I wish it like it's almost like envy. It's like I wish it could have like affected me like that. It's like, because I don't remember the last time like I saw something, it's like, yo, like hold up, like I think he started like crying.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
So it's like I envy that.
Right. Yeah. 100%. I mean, for me, like I feel like I would have like I remember being absolutely over the moon hype when they announced the February date back in September. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like really excited, like on stream. You know what I'm saying? But this one, I was just more of like. I think it's because it has been so long, and this game just has so much of a journey with it in terms of its release that we're going to talk about for years in terms of like, oh, remember when Part 2 got leaked like a month and a half before the game was supposed to come out? But when it got leaked, we didn't know when it was coming out still, and COVID-19 and all that, you know? So like there's like going to be definitely a story behind the release of this game overall, right? But I do feel you when you say that, like, you know, like it's not as impactful, I feel like, you know.
And
I think maybe less so for you because of what you know already about the game.
Like it just feels very nullified. Like if you showed me this trailer a year ago, I would have been over the moon. Like this
oh heck yeah.
Like but it's just like what you said. It's like it's been such a journey to get this game.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh cool, another trailer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait.
For sure. Yeah.
And with everything surrounding it and all that, it's like I'm kind of not fed up, but I've had my take of Last of Us 2 news for a little bit.
Mm. I
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, no, I'm sorry. It's just like I'm excited about the game, but it feels like I don't know. I feel like this trailer was put out under pressure. Like the whole game is just in like a crock pot of like we need to keep this under wraps. We need to like yada yada until it releases.
Right.
It just feels like I don't know. Just I just kind of goes silent with it. It's like, yeah, don't look at the leaks, make an official statement, and then just get it done.
I mean, I don't know if this trailer was like made in a reactionary like reasoning because of the leaks and stuff like that. I don't think that's essentially how we got this trailer, because like if you think about it, if the game was still coming out May 29th, right?
Right.
We would have gotten this on we got it on May 5th, I believe. Yeah, on May
Yeah.
5th, on Tuesday, I think, or Monday. I forgot.
No,
What
I
day
think it was yesterday.
Wait, it was yesterday?
Yeah, like you asked me to like wake up with
Oh
you.
my god, it
for-
was yesterday. Yo.
And I was like, yeah, I had work. I was like, yeah, no, that's enough for me.
Bro, time doesn't exist. That was yesterday. That feels like so long ago. Wow, it's crazy. But but like I feel like we still would have gotten this trailer around this time, you know, and I kind of feel like this trailer, because we got a lot of these screenshots. Do you remember when they first said that the game was going to be released indefinitely? They put out a bunch of different screenshots. A lot of those screenshots are from this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, there is a case to be made that maybe they, built this trailer around those screenshots, perhaps. You know, but that and that's more of like what was made first, the chicken or the egg. You know, but I don't know. I don't think that this trailer was made because
No, yeah,
of the leaks, but
I absolutely agree. Like
Yeah.
the from the leaks to now, like getting a trailer done like that, like is highly improbable. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's like I don't know with everything going on, like it's just like I don't know. I feel like the game needs a break.
I know.
From
Yeah.
news.
I mean, I know for me, it's like, I think there's an overall like consensus, like the excitement will never be what we all want it to be right now because of the leaks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no more questions really. I mean, I'm sure there's still questions about the game, because I'm sure it's not like literally the entire game got leaked, like an entire walkthrough, but a lot of the big moments got leaked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a debug menu. Like
Yeah.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's not that we have all of the answers, but we have the answers to a lot of pertinent questions about this game that kind of makes like speculation on it, and like dropping these trailers that, you know, some things are meant to be presented to you out of context because you're not supposed to know the leaks, and then someone that watches this trailer, and I assume know the leaks, you know, can put maybe a lot of things together or see where they're trying to throw people off. Like, that's what I'm curious to ask you about too. Like how is this trailer like extremely underwhelming because of the leaks that you've been susceptible to by an unfortunate, you know, online person?
User.
Yeah.
The trailer did a good job about like keeping all the major beats under wrap, and if the leaks are like true and what I've read is true, like it did a good job. It did a very good job of keeping major story beats under wraps.
Nice. Okay,
So
I see.
like if you're afraid of watching the trailer because of leaks and all that, like be not afraid, like you're good. It's like I like from what I've watched, like there is nothing that you should be concerned about. It's like, oh, they ruined it, like they showed off too much, like that kind of deal.
Right.
Nothing that I noticed that would ruin your experience if you're
Okay.
afraid of leaks. Like
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah, I see. Because I think the only like brand new, I mean, one of the brand new things we've seen in this trailer, is those parts in the trailer where it seems like it's gonna take place closer to Last of Us One than Last of Us Part Two. In the
Yeah.
beginning, where we have Joel wearing his green type of shirt and then Ellie wearing her red shirt, like that whole outfit scheme seems to be pointing to like that being like a Last of Us One era type of timeline, and I
Hmm.
like that a lot. I love the aspect of that. Like I mean, a cringe. I can't take credit for saying this because it was definitely the homie Christian that said this, but he was saying that like, yo, I hope that we get some sort of like prologue that takes place in that era in that timeline from Last of Us One, but we get like a few hours of it, like maybe like hour and a half, 2 hours in that before we even get to part two. You know,
Um,
I think that'd be. I mean, maybe multiple hours is a little bit too much. I would say maybe I just want at least like a good chunk of time in that, because
in that time frame.
yeah. I think that sounds dope.
Uh, this isn't from the leaks. It's just like from what people are like speculating.
Okay.
It's just like I've read that people are wanting to, or like that they want to outdo the prologue from part one.
Okay. Okay. Because I mean, my pray for a prologue for part two is like pick me up right where the game ends on part one. You know,
Like just a fluid story.
literally just pick up right where I left off. Like I mean, like you like press start and like you instantly see like Ellie saying, "Okay,
Like,
yeah," or whatever she says at the end. Or like
yeah,
Joel
no.
saying, "I swear." Yeah. Mm, mm, mm.
I would like that. I would
Yeah.
prefer that.
Yeah.
But from what I know and how they or people are talking about, like, oh, I do the prologue. Like, I hope it's like Chris is right.
Yeah, because I mean, we will talk about the Last of Us One's prologue here in a little bit, but that one's gonna be, because I forgot how much I loved the prologue to Last of Us. But it is incredible. It
Yeah.
is really really well done, really well done. But I think one more thing I want to say about the trailer. I mean, number one, I think my favorite aspect of it is that we don't see a lot of new stuff in it. I know that sounds weird to a lot of people, but at this point, I feel like I would rather just not see anything new and just go
Yeah,
in.
less is more.
Yeah, less is gonna speak like just. I like how they expanded a little bit more on what they've shown of the game, and that's it. You know, like
Yeah.
this is exactly the trailer that I wanted. Was like not show me anything too brand new. You know what I'm saying? Or like too much of too brand new. You know what I'm saying? But the second thing is that Arachknight, we're gonna get a little hype here. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
I know it's been a few podcast episodes, but we do have a Chelsea watch segment.
Oh boy.
Chelsea Tavares, I think, is in this trailer, my boy. Did you spot her?
I believe so.
Okay, I think it is the African American female that Ellie is using as a body shield, and like she flashes a flashlight at her in the trailer first, and then she uses her as a body shield. I mean, there's no confirmation. I have yet to. You know what? By the time this podcast goes live, I will share screenshots of Chelsea on Twitter and be like, "Hey, is this you, Queen?" just give me a wink, nod, nudge, nudge. Give me an emoji. Give me something. You know.
Yeah.
But I think we may have found Chelsea. So
Hmm.
that was cool. But overall, I mean, do you have any lasting thoughts on this trailer before we move on? So it seems like you're like pretty lukewarm about it, but if you have any
Yeah,
further thoughts, I
no.
mean,
Um it was solid. Like
yeah,
I enjoyed it. Like it's a very solid trailer. It's just I don't know. I feel like I am not one to really discuss whether or not it was a good trailer, because it's kind of like asking a kid on Christmas, like, "Oh, are you excited for your gifts?" when you already know what the gifts are.
um, you see, this is super interesting. Like, this is the conversation that I did want to have. Because I don't know any of the spoilers. I'm over here week 2 dodging these spoilers like I'm a running back, whatever. Honestly, I don't know why I said running back. I just said running back. I don't know if that actually. I don't know. I be dodging these like I'm trying to hit a parry. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that the trailer was overall just good. Like I didn't think it was like insanely crazy or whatever. But I did want to hear from someone's opinion that have seen the leaks. So very, very good.
Well, yeah, it's solid. Like if you haven't seen the leaks, like honestly, like I don't know, I kind of changed my tune from last week. It's kind of like do your best to avoid it.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Like,
yeah, I see.
I'm not afraid of the leaks because I've seen all of it, but it also like now it puts it into scale on what like how it's been not ruined, but the depth of like reaction that I could possibly have to such significant story areas is gone. It's gone. Like if the leaks are true, and if I play the game and if I see what's about to happen, it's like, oh yeah, great, okay.
It's so sad, man. It's tragic, man. I hate it. I wish I wish it wasn't like this.
So like with whatever happens, it's just gonna be like, oh cool. I saw that a few months ago.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. You truly hate to see it.
But it could be like a Caps like Mjolnir thing from Endgame, where I could watch that scene any day of the week and still get goosebumps.
It's an amazing scene. I just watched it with my cousin and my best friend on Discord, having a movie night, and it was the exact day that we started it at the exact same time that we watched it a year ago. At like 11:30 p.m. And it was cool. Very, very good movie. Very good.
Very good.
But I think overall, if you are still worried about spoilers, a lot of this trailer are scenes that we've already seen from different trailers, and the only I feel like truly new thing, aside from some other like bits and pieces, is the beginning segments when you see the younger versions of Joel and Ellie from like Last of Us 1 era, in their graphic updates and stuff like that. Like that stuff is brand new, and I think like is the biggest takeaway, at least for me. Definitely, like I think that's the biggest takeaway is seeing that. All right, like there's gonna be some of this game that takes place a lot closer to part 1 than we're all expecting. So really, really good. But also I feel like at this point, if we're gonna put that in the trailer, the prologue is gonna have to be different, right? Like there's no way they show prologue footage on a trailer, right?
Yeah. That's they didn't do it with part 1 to the extent of my knowledge.
No. I mean, yeah. As far as I'm aware, I don't believe so. I mean, they definitely didn't show like Sarah.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't show Sarah. I feel like the only stuff that maybe they shown was maybe like Tommy in his car, like bum rushing through the city, maybe. But I doubt it. But I digress. We will get our hands in a few short weeks, and yeah, so that is that. But let's get into the good stuff here. Of course, we are doing our first episode of the Last of Us replay series, where we recap the part of Last of Us 1 that we played this week. If you missed it, it's live on the channel right now. We are going to be streaming every Wednesday night leading up till release a different sliver of Last of Us, and the Left Behind DLC as well, leading up to Last of Us Part 2. So this week we covered the prologue in Quarantine Zone as well as the outskirts. So essentially it's the start of the game until right up till you get to Bill's Town, is where I stopped like in the woods as you're entering Bill's Town. That's where I stopped.
Yeah, that's about where I stopped too.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So I mean, do we want to just go in order? I mean, like, Do we wanna, or I mean, I guess I'll ask you service level stuff. Like, did you feel like this was a great or like a really good opening, to the game?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, kind of going off of what you said earlier. There is something about The Last of Us prologue that I don't think will ever leave like my memory. Because you asked me a few game prologues that I could tell you from like just memory, just like sheer memory. And there are only a few games that I could do that.
Right.
And those are always games that are like special to me and like dear to my heart. Like Mass Effect 2, Infamous 2, Spider-Man PS4.
Oh, Spider-Man PS4 is amazing.
Arkham City, and of course Last of Us.
Arkham City is a great opening. Oh, dude, you listed some bangers right there. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, my boy. Okay.
Oh, Doom Eternal's opening was also very good.
Yep. I thought the original Doom was pretty good too, to be honest.
Oh yeah, but like I don't know, like that's a whole other. If I start talking about Doom, I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
But like, there's something about The Last of Us prologue that sets it different. Like from when I played it when it first released, when I was much younger, I didn't really know all that much about the game. So I expected something kind of like survival horror, but also in like with an Uncharted kind of tang to it.
Right.
Like something like grounded in realism, but with some extra stuff to like create its own like diverse way of storytelling.
Yeah.
But Last of Us didn't do that. Last of Us gave you something grounded, and it gave you something like, I don't know, something that I didn't expect at that age, and something that stayed with me for the last 7 years. Like if you told me to talk about just the opening of The Last of Us and how it's a masterful, like it is masterful storytelling.
Yeah.
And how it creates the world, how it sets up the characters, like the initial characters, their motivations, the justifications for their personality that you see in the beginning of the game. And it's masterful. Like some ordinary gamers, a YouTuber talked about that recently. And the way that he described it, I felt like is just perfect, because it's like with the opening and with what happens to Sarah, you close your eyes because the screen goes to black, and then you wake up as Joel 20 years later as a bitter man.
Yeah.
And it's masterful storytelling, and it explains his reserved and kind of dickish personality in the beginning of the game before
Definitely.
he opens back up.
Yeah.
Like Ellie opens him back up. Like his relationship with Tess helps open him back up. But then, like, it like the way that they characterize and like show, don't tell their reasons for being the way they are and why their characters are so unique and diverse is one of my favorite parts of part one. Like the prologue is one of my favorite parts of the entire game, which I can't say very often with games.
Yeah.
Because the prologue it's inciting incident. It's interesting most of the time, like, or else the game, like, what's the reason of playing the game? It's interesting, it captivates you, but then you want to get through the prologue to see the rest of the game. But on part one, it's just like the prologue just is what sets it up. Like it just, the expectations are already so high from the quality of writing and the storytelling and all that.
Yeah.
In just the prologue, and part one keeps that momentum the entire.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like how intense the prologue is. Like it is so intense. It's quiet. It's brutal. It's dark. It's gruesome. Like it is so tense. And that was, I think, my third or fourth time playing through the prologue.
Yeah.
I think that was my third or fourth time playing through it, and it's still like so intense, man. It is a lot. Like when the when Sarah goes into Joel's room and looks at the TV and the broadcaster, and the dude's trying to tell her, yo, you need to back up, like there is a bursted pipe, like you will die, and it explodes, and Sarah looks at the window and she sees the explosion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like literally like it's that moment that honestly is okay, this may be a bit of a stretch, right? But when things started to really pop off here in the States involving COVID-19, right? And like,
Right.
I remember like, watching news and stuff like that and like seeing like, oh yeah, like there's like lines out the ass from like different grocery stores and stuff like that. And there's no toilet paper anywhere, all that, whatever, it was different, like hearing about it from the news and like seeing it online versus later on that night going to my local fries after my shift and seeing it for myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like it didn't really set in for me like how massive of like how mass the effect is, mass effect, how like massive the effect is, where it's literally in my city, you know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I think they captured like a similar thing of Sarah, because I feel like she's truly not scared until she sees that explosion, and then sees Joel obviously shoot his neighbor and stuff like that, and like
It
I don't
sets it
know,
into
I just think
reality.
it was just well
Like,
done for sure.
when this whole thing started, I figured it's like, oh, like I had the same mentality as a lot of people, I believe, where it's like it can't be that bad, right?
Yeah.
Like denial. And then my parents asked me to go pick up like some stuff at the store, like at a local store, and I went in and there was nothing.
Yeah.
It like I asked an employee, it's like, hey, do you, and she's like, no, like before I could even finish.
It was wild. Definitely.
And it's like, okay. And I looked around for a little bit, and it's like, oh, there's one of the things I needed at like the end of an aisle. So I'm going to go grab it, and like this lady with like a full shopping cart full of stuff just runs in, grabs it, and runs out.
Dang.
It's like, okay, thanks.
Jeez.
It like, and not to build too much on my own personal life, but with the prologue with Sarah, like I have a child in my life.
Right.
I have a little girl in my life, and replaying the prologue from a 13-year-old boy to an adult with newfound responsibilities and experiences, and like just being a different person than I was, really hit me hard this time.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, as a kid, it's like, oh, that's sad. Like a parent just lost their child, but now it's like, oh my god, like how the hell would I get through that?
Yeah, no, it's insane, man. It's insane. Yeah, the whole intro is crazy. I love when Tommy gets into the fold for a little bit here, and they like talk like you truly see like, yeah, they are definitely brothers. Like Tommy and Joel are like so well written as brothers, and the way they reply to each other and like their like quips and stuff like that, and the way like Joel will like yell at Tommy or whatever to like keep driving, past those two stranders on the roadside, whatever, and like it's not like they ever get mad at each other. It's just like that.
It's very comfortable. It's familial.
Yeah, like because that happens in my family too. Like it'll sound like from the outside that like, oh, like some like I'm angry at my brother, or like vice versa. When like no, it's just like I don't know, like I just think that they just sold it really well, that like familial brother bond,
Yeah.
But this whole sequence was crazy, especially when we get to the backed up highway and we see our first infected, well, our second infected actually, because the first one's a neighbor.
Yeah.
I think what's really cool detailed there was that when Joel shoots the neighbor, it's Sarah who goes like, I just saw him this morning. Like, I just saw him this morning.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and just how quick everything changed. It's very, 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 very gruesome. And then, of course, we go through the whole thing. In the city, there's panic. They get hit by a car of people also trying to get out of the city. You know what I'm saying? And then we get the unfortunate death of Sarah by the military, which was very, very. It's still brutal to this day. And if you guys get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, I would definitely recommend looking at the Last of Us documentary that they put out and seeing, oh my God, Troy Baker do that performance on mocap, because it's tough. It's hard. I think that was like the 12th or 15th take, I think. And like Neil, I think how the story went was that like Neil just wasn't getting like the right reaction out of Troy. And then like in that moment when they finally got the take that we have in the game, like I think Troy said that like he was also like crying and frustrated, like in a way, because like he was digging into some deep stuff personally that like he has been through in the past and stuff like that. But also I think he was saying that like he was almost like exhausted by keep having to redo that scene over and over again. So like there's a little part of it too, but I highly recommend that if you haven't seen that part. Seen that documentary, it's great. And like Sarah does a great performance here as well. It's a great scene. It is really, really impactful for sure. But then we flash forward 20 years.
Yes.
20 years ahead. We get introduced to Tess and Joel. Did you always get the mindset that like they were kind of a couple?
Yeah, like there was some tension there.
Right? And like I know there's like a part later on where Tess, says like, hey Joel, like after this we should just like settle down and just like relax,
Yeah.
and not be in this like they seem to be smugglers, I think is what their job is, I think, right? For the most part, like that's essentially what they're doing. I don't know if you got a better read on it or you have a different interpretation.
I believe smugglers is the right.
Yeah. What it seems like it is. Yeah, like seems like they're just they're smugglers doing the thing. Then they get word that one of, I guess, their how would you make it?
Rivals?
How would you describe Robert?
Rival.
Is it a rival or is it like someone that like gives them smuggling jobs?
Like sure. Robert was like a dealer in a way.
Right.
But
okay.
then he screwed them over to the Fireflies, so then he becomes a rival kind of deal, because they just kind of it's brutal what they did to him. Like it was cool. It was like synced. And it was brutal. And I dig that.
Yeah. And I think also to get into it as well, like I think one of the biggest things about this opening 2.5 hours is the way that they convey the world without telling you. Like I loved the way Final Fantasy VII did this. Final Fantasy VII did it in a little bit of a different way, at least from what I'm getting at, where there's like definitely a lot more of a population in Final Fantasy VII, right? So
Midgar.
Yeah. So like you get a read on the world that they reside in by the public speaking about said world, right? So in this game, it's more of just like, I feel it leans more on the environment and like how certain things play out and the overall layout as well. Like I think you get a little bit more of that. Like it was really weird, honestly, seeing the like guardrails onto a building, because like, man, like we have that right now. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh man. Oof. But what did you think of like stepping into the 20 years after the Cordyceps virus hit? Like what were your like thoughts on like the world overall?
I thought like the world building and how like it introduces it to you very fluidly. Like there's no exposition drop by Tess or Joel or anything. It's just, this is the way it is,
Yeah.
learn to you as a player have to learn how to live and work around it.
Yeah.
So I think something that did it really well, like the tutorials,
Mm-hmm.
at least for the med kit, I really liked because they go on their way, they're about to do a run, and then fireflies attack and a piece of shrapnel or something hits Joel, and it's like, oh, heal yourself, like make sure that you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like it it compacts world building with gameplay mechanics, and I really really like that.
Right.
I thought it was very fluid. Going back to Final Fantasy VII, like I love when aspects that make a game and gameplay like are very fluid and there's no awkward like gap,
Yeah.
cutscene and then loading screen and then you're back in the game. Something Naughty Dog has been great about is no load times.
Yes. Yeah.
You get one long load time in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
and then that's it.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII did that with cutscenes. Cutscenes, for the most part, unless they're CG cutscenes, are part of the gameplay. Like they're rendered in engine, and then you're right back in the fight. You can still see the HUD,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
feel like Naughty Dog has been great about that lately.
I do feel like, especially for like the year 2013 on the PS3 when this game came out, how they hide load screens as well throughout gameplay, in terms of
Yeah.
like all those times where you have to boost someone up. You know that's a load screen. And for like Final Fantasy 7, the same way as like when you're squeezing through a tight space to reach it in the effort to reach a different part of the map. That's also a load screen. So like, but I just feel like in this game it's a lot less hidden, you know, and I commend them for that too, because I feel like the like shimmying through like a tight space is done so many times in games, and it's
You
such
mean
a
more hidden?
like I think The Last of Us hides the loading screens or like the loading instances more than like some modern games today. You know, like
Yeah.
God of War also had a lot of those, like, you know, oh, tight space, gotta shimmy my way through it, you know.
Jedi Fallen Order had a
So
lot
many,
of them.
so many, bro, so many.
And Final Fantasy VII also has a lot of them.
Yeah. So I'll definitely commend this game for, you know, I feel like hiding them in a little bit of a better way, you know. Like, I mean, yeah, is shimmying less fun than boosting your AI partner up? No, like they're both not the most fun things in the world to do. I just feel like it's a little bit more bound in realism to have a level like in Last of Us where you have to boost your player up, and then they have to put down the ladder, then you go up the ladder, all load in the background, as opposed to shimmying across this random, you know, tight space.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just feel like the like boosting up feels a little bit more fluid, at least to me personally. I don't know, but also like another thing that is not really tied to this part specifically, but the minimalist HUD is phenomenal. Yes. Oh my god, I love it. It's so clean.
I can always appreciate good HUDs in games. Like there are some games that it's just like there's like too much going on. Like early 2000s like action games.
Yeah.
Like, you remember how they had like a big like at the top left you had like a very thin like horizontally stretched like health bar and like something under it for like action points or whatever.
Yep, I do recall.
And like Devil May Cry, like I love DMC, but like when I think of early 2000s action game HUDs, I think of Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
so
definitely
I appreciate how compact and how minimalist the HUD is. Like show me an ammo count, show me how much health I have, and that's it. That's all I need.
Yeah. It's super clean. Even when you're like swapping from like a brick to a bottle to a med kit, and later on you get access to a shiv and stuff like that, and a melee weapon and different other weapons that you find throughout the game. Even like switching through that is like super smooth in that very, very minimal like crossbar looking menu. It's great.
Yeah, no,
it's great.
I love that.
Yeah, it's real, real good. But let's hear. So I guess Joel and Tess go on their way because they get wind that Robert is trying to screw them. So they go in and trying to get their stuff back. So they go on this. We get a better feel for the world and stuff like that. We then run into Robert finally after a little fight with some fireflies. Ultimately, he kicks the can. Robert does.
He got the can kicked for him.
Definitely. And then we meet Marlene from the American Dreams comic that we just went through.
Replaying these segments like really highlighted that I miss Tess.
Yeah, Tess is great.
Yeah, I really like Tess. I wish she lived longer.
Yeah, hey, you truly hate to see it, but yeah, no, Tess is a great character. Like, and I feel like she is so good, at least to me personally, because like the way Joel presents himself and the way she kind of presents Joel in a lot of instances is like Joel is such like a clean cut, very, very limited talking in the early parts of the game, and he's so fierce, seemingly. Like that's how we're like made to like view Joel. And Tess is the only one that'll like stand up toe to toe, to Joel in like an argument or whatever, and like that ultimately is like, even when we go up to her ultimate demise, she gets what she demands of Joel in the face of Joel, even when Joel is opposing that,
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most times it's like when Joel speaks to anyone in this game, it's like, all right, it is my way and that's it, except Tess.
Like, that's why I kind of like I wanted them not to be like a lovey-dovey couple, because that's not their character, but like I would have liked it for them to, like, I like what they did with the tension, because it's kind of like I don't know, like I think we can all say it's like, oh yeah, like with girlfriends and stuff like that, like most of the time, and this isn't me being like, it's just like, oh, do everything your girlfriend says, but it's just like there are some times where it's like, oh, if she says it, like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, like it harmons back to like the happy life, happy wife mantra in a subtle way. They're not married in the game, but
yeah, no, but it's just like you can reject everybody and everything in the world, but like it's like, oh, okay, like there's like almost no point in arguing it, because it'll just end up with, it just delays the inevitable. It's like, I don't know. And I fear saying that because of the whole like, oh, you're a simp thing, because everybody like, ugh.
Yeah, like it's like not simp activity, but
no,
it's not simp activity though.
It's compromise.
Yeah. It's like I totally agree.
It's just like it's so worrying to say anything about, like, it's like, oh yeah, like she's cool, like this is a good character, like, oh yeah, she's cool. Simp, and it's like, oh my god, like we get it, haha. I love seventh grade humor. Shut up. We get.
How do you feel about Marlene?
I think she, like, I like her character, but I also don't like her character. If that makes sense.
I mean,
like, I like how she's written. She's written well. It's
right.
a good character. But like, if she was a real person, I would not like her.
Oh, so. Are you saying that like they did a great job at portraying a character of that personality, right?
Yeah, like,
but you
yes.
don't like that personality.
I do. Yes, that's perfect phrasing.
Okay,
like, I enjoy the character. I like what they did with her, but as a like personality, I don't like the personality, but that's good writing. I don't
Yeah.
have to like everybody.
Right. Yeah. For sure. For sure. For sure. Me.
Like,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
oh, what I was just gonna say is like Nadine, like
Mm.
from Uncharted 4, like very well written character, I believe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate her character.
I like Nadine. Damn.
I
You
hate
hate to see.
Nadine.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Like, but that's fine.
Yeah. No.
Like
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
the fact that I don't like her character, not due to the qualities of poor writing, but to
You
the
don't.
merit of good writing,
You like don't like.
shows.
I think that archetype. I expect like another way to put it. Maybe from what you're saying.
Yeah, like that character type.
Yeah.
Just something about it like annoys me.
I feel you.
But that's good writing.
Right. 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 I see. I see. With with Marlene, I don't know. It felt a little bit like coincidental that Joel and Tess hate the Fireflies, and then all of a sudden they run into the head of the Fireflies. I don't know. Like, I get that's all explained because she is trying to oversee, you know, the evacuation of Ellie out of the city and into the Fireflies HQ, where she can be tested, obviously, for her being immune and stuff like that, and try to get a vaccine. Like, I get it, but it just seemed like a little bit like too coincidental. Like, it seemed like the cards kind of fell too much
Well,
in place. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it was that. So if I get this correctly, they so Joel and Tess, I think, either did the job or were going to get a job to attain these weapons. But
yeah.
then uh they were gonna get the weapons by, oh my god, what's his name? We just said it. Crap.
Robert?
Robert, thank you. Yeah. From Robert, but then Robert instead sold those to the Fireflies because he owed them and rather give the weapons to them at that point and just take the L from Joel and Tess and just have them just wait a little bit longer so he can get new weapons or whatever. So I think that's why Tess is there.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Tess wanted to capture him too, to bring him in alive, I think. Because she says that, like, I needed him alive to, I think, early
Well,
on
no,
in the game as well.
isn't that Marlene?
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Marlene said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tess
That's
is
why.
the one
Yeah.
who shot him.
Sorry. That's why Marlene was there to get the weapons from Robert.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
I feel it makes sense. Like I don't feel like it's like they're just like on a mission and they see, oh, hello, head of the Fireflies.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I think it was a little bit like unbelievable in a way for Tess to know her as the leader of the Fireflies, if that makes sense. I think.
Well, it's not like the Fireflies are very hidden.
You know what? You know what? I guess checkmate. I guess I had no complaint there. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess you're right. I guess you are right. But then Marlene. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, what I was gonna say is like sometimes just weird stuff happens, like
It'd be like that.
just where it's like kind of too perfect.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, like it's like, oh, I hope I don't run into this person, and then you run into them immediately.
Yeah. It's like when you're at work and you mean to put in a Southwest salad, but they order the Cobb salad, then someone randomly accidentally made an extra Cobb salad. So it's like nothing happened.
Yeah,
You know. Sometimes just be like that. But
I do.
But we head over with, of course, Joel, Marlene, and Tess. And Tess goes, all right, listen, I will give you the weapons that Robert gave me that were initially supposed to go to you, but you have to deliver something and smuggle something for me. And then I will give you the weapons and then some. Like I will, give you a lot for it. And they're not, she's not saying what they're smuggling yet, but it ends up to be, of course, Ellie. Good old Ellie. And I think it's also kind of cool how we don't even see Ellie until like an hour into the game, like an hour 15, and like she's on the cover. I just think that's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Well, it's just like you don't need to show your major story beats in the very beginning, like because if the character doesn't understand the scope of the world, then you just kind of burn through it.
True.
if they don't understand the characters that you're working with. Like, I think Joel and Tess needed a before and after, like, establishment. Like, it's kind of like a control group, for lack of a better phrase. Like, this is Joel before Ellie,
Yeah.
with Tess living their normal lives. And as the story progresses, you can really see how Joel changes with Ellie in his life, and how his relationship with her changes, and how he as a character just changes fundamentally with his time with Ellie.
Yeah.
So it kind of sets up the world in a way that lets us see, like, progression,
Right. Right.
like both character progression and world building progression.
Yeah. Also, I love a parallel that was seen in this part when they get to, like, not like safe house, but like their apartment, I guess you can say, that's just abandoned, waiting for nightfall to come, where then they could sneak out of the city easier with the cover of night. Um, Ellie says, "Hey, your watch is broken," while Joel was laying on the couch, and Joel was first given that watch on a couch with Sarah, and like
Yeah.
at that point his watch was broken. Like, it was a cool, like, parallel. I was like, it's a I don't know, it's a nice touch,
Yeah.
it's a nice touch. I personally thought. But then, of course, nightfall comes. Oh, by the way, during this, Tess goes with Marlene to get patched up because she got injured in a gun battle, I believe, as well as Tess and Joel want to verify the weapons.
Legitimacy.
Yeah, of like how legit this is, and she saw it with her own eyes, and it's a done deal, right? So they start heading out. Fireflies end up catching them. Ellie does, a ballsy maneuver.
I feel those are soldiers, not fireflies.
I'm an idiot. Soldier. Sorry. I meant soldiers, not fireflies.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but then, Ellie takes one down to the kneecaps. Crazy move. Like, it just shows a lot of the character as well. Like how just she's not afraid to just get in the dirt and just does what, do what has to be done.
Right.
Definitely. Then they start hunting them down. Then they're making it essentially to the Capitol building, which I think is going to be the rendezvous point to have the secondary Firefly group pick up Ellie and escort her to the Firefly HQ on the west side of the country. Yeah. So that's where we get that. And then there's how do we feel about this part of the game where we're going through the different buildings and our first encounters with the clickers and the infected in a more like combat way?
Everything that I like about, like, cities is like a post-apocalyptic cities is in full display. I like nighttime shots over daytime shots. I love rain. I believe a word for it is dilapidated buildings, and like how overrun the city is, like, just by nature and by destruction over the course of 20 years. I feel like it's all very well done. I feel like it's atmospheric, it's intense, it keeps you captivated, and in your first playthrough, like, at least I remember from my first playthrough, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because it's like they showed us clickers, these one-hit kill enemies that aren't really, at least weren't too popular back then.
Right.
Like, it really does show you, like, comparison to other games that you could play back then. Most games you could take a beating before dying, and it wasn't just like a one-shot kill. Like, they grab you, if you don't have a shiv, it's over.
Right.
Like, it made it much more intense, which I appreciated.
Yeah. It is crazy how they made, like, hey, we're gonna have enemies in this game that are literally one-hit kills.
Like if they
and it
grab you, it's over.
yeah, and it just works. Like I just feel like it's so well done, you know, and at least me personally, like going through, you know, those few first sections where you first run into clickers and runners and stuff like that, like it is very tense, you know. It's done super well. Like I love it. It's so cool. I love those moments that like honestly those like moments kind of remind me of like not like they remind me of like Arkham Origins, Arkham City, and Arkham Asylum. And I feel like this is where Arkham Knight kind of lost its way in terms of like I love like all right, the game takes me to a room, there's a bunch of enemies, you have to deal with them with what you have at your disposal, use the environment, have fun, you know,
Well,
like sorry, go
Ark. Oh, sorry. Well, what I was gonna say is like, if use the environment, Arkham Knight did that the best, and but Arkham Knight also like I don't know. I don't feel like when you started saying Arkham City and Asylum, I thought you were gonna go on a route of atmosphere because
Right.
Arkham Asylum is the superhero game for atmosphere.
Yeah, like I'm not necessarily talking about atmosphere. I'm talking about like, all right, like giving you a bunch of enemies, and it's like, all right, they are in this room.
Get rid of
You
them.
have to deal with them, and use the tools at your disposal. Versus, I mean, use the tools at your disposal, as well as the elements in the given room that you have to combat in. You know,
Yeah, for
like that's what it remind me a lot of like sometimes in this game where you know you like gotta deal with like 6 or 7 clickers and runners and stuff like that. Like I just felt that same way of like like I love that part of like the original Arkham games like back in the day, you know, back in the day like 2010 2011 whatever, but you know
yeah.
uh but yeah, they're very tense. Clickers are still creepy even in 2020. Don't get it twisted. I can't wait to hear them in part 2
Hmm.
because I know they're. Because would you say the clicker sound is a bit iconic? Not like crazy iconic. Like what? What would be considered like iconic? Like I don't know. Like the like classic like Walking Dead zombies. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think like the
Yeah.
sound of the clickers have made it to that iconic sound in a way, at least for games?
Yeah, for games like um anybody that like has known about The Last of Us or especially has played The Last of Us, if you show them like just like an audio snippet of the clicker noise, I believe that most people could say is like, oh, that's a clicker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like when I was at Comic Con last year, I went to a video game trivia panel.
Mm.
Um, and some of the questions were about The Last of Us. And like one of the questions, for example, was, you know, like they just showed like a 3-second audio of one of the tracks in the game, and that's it. That's all you got, and then you had to answer it.
Okay.
And they're like The Last of Us's sound design really sets it apart from other like survival horror experiences because I believe like if us like most well designed survival horror games are iconic with their own styles or themes of atmosphere and sound design
Yeah.
because sound is everything in creating tension and immersion. Like Resident Evil 2 had the squeaks of the chandelier in RPD. Like Last of Us has the ambient noise of the clickers behind the door or the zombies like kind of groaning.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um oh, sorry. You go.
no, I mean just like one thing to mention even like about like the groans you hear and stuff like that, like you really, at least the way it's always given to me and the way I kind of take it is that like when the zombies like make those like grunts and like those like moans whatever, like it's like they're in pain,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like that's what's also dark about it as well. I'm like, damn, like that's so well done, you know, how they made it sound scary but also like you feel like sad for them because like they're literally in pain. You know, it's cool.
That's why I love the mechanic of Joel's hearing thing,
Yeah.
because it just highlights that.
Yes. Listen mode. Yeah. 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 I know a lot of people clown me for using it sometimes, keywords sometimes in factions, but you know, I digress. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So then we, get past the nighttime scene when we're, in the broken down and dilapidated, if you will, buildings. We get towards a little more sunlight. We reach the Capitol building, and then we get the very emotional part in the game where Jess reveals that she is infected, and she got hurt and bit somewhere in the dilapidated building sections as you're going through that.
I thought it was a subway.
Was it the subway?
I believe so, because you start out in the buildings and you work your way down.
No, the subway. Tess is never in the subway, right? Isn't the subway?
Isn't the subway before? Oh no. You're right. You're right. I was confused that the subway was before.
Yeah.
Like, on your way to the like the city hall or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Like I think she gets hurt when you get split up for a little bit. When
yeah, she hides it for a little bit.
Yeah. It's like one of like the last things that you play before this like cutscene. Yeah, it gets split up for a little bit. Yeah, but a very 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 sad cutscene. You know, of just being like, look, like not Jess, Tess. But yeah, Tess being like, number one, it's over, and number two, like this wound I got like X amount of hours ago, and it's already worse than Ellie's wound, and Ellie got it 3 weeks ago. You know, like that, and the way Tess is like, listen, like this is for real. Like Ellie, there is something about her that like we have to make sure that she gets to where she needs to go. You know, and like and I think definitely early on, like when it gets to be now just Joel and Ellie on the main journey, like I think a part of it, you know, for Joel in the beginning of that journey was, of course, you know, to a degree, like do it for Tess, right? And maybe also to get the guns, you know what I'm saying, of course. But I love how like over time we are gonna see it manifest to like, you know, Joel inevitably will not want to give her up, you know, out of love for Ellie, you know. So it's gonna be really cool to see that transformation. We get a couple of scenes where Joel and Ellie are fighting off the military, trying to get at her, I believe. Which I don't know if it's like, do you think it's because they like intercepted those like letters where the Fireflies were planning on where to pick up Ellie? You know, is that why they're like, are they trying to take out Fireflies, or are they specifically after Ellie herself?
Well, Joel and Tess aren't really like popular.
That's also a good point.
Like they like they've taken out the like, remember, because they killed the soldiers when they got captured at the beginning, when they were going, like when they were leaving the martial law area.
Yeah, right.
Like the little town. They killed them and they called for backup before they died.
It's a good point. Okay. Yeah, so they
were probably tracking them down.
Yeah, they're definitely wanted people. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Good point. Then we fight, of course, in the subways for a little bit as well. I love that scene where Joel's like, how are you even breathing this stuff in? And she's like, I wasn't lying to you. You know? And like now, like there's like tangible proof that like it's almost like, you know, Tess got her proof that Ellie wasn't lying via having to get bit and see the differences in how both of these wounds develop. And then Joel kind of also got it with that, but also in a way like the way that Ellie's able to breathe under the spores. Spore?
Yeah.
Spores. Yeah, spores.
Yes.
Yeah. I just thought that was a cool touch of like, you know, Joel being in like almost like disbelief that like she's not wearing a mask, you know. And then of course we get the intro of Ellie can't swim. We love to see that. And then Joel says that, you know, they're kind of trying to figure out, you know, what the next move is at this last bit of cutscene. Joel lays down the rules that, you know, 1, what I say goes. Number 2, you don't tell anyone about how you are immune to the infection, you know. And I think he says one more thing. I'm reading. Oh, lastly. Oh, wait, no. Wait, so.
Don't bring up tests.
Oh, first one is don't bring up tests. 2 is don't tell people about your condition, your immunity. And 3 is do as I say, no matter what. Yeah. And then he says that there's a town a few miles north where some guy owes him something and some favors that maybe he can get them a car to be able to go to where they need to go. So that's where we left it this week. It will continue next week. And of course, they are talking about Billstown. So,
right.
Any surface level thoughts on this section of the game? The first like 2.5 hours of the game, or like any just lasting comments or whatever.
I am excited to replay the rest of the game before part 2 comes out.
Definitely.
Like I am enjoying my time with the game again. Like, it's fluid. It's a little clunky. Like the running is a little clunky.
Yeah.
But it, for what it was at the time and like the comparisons on how games function and play now, because even now running is a little stiff. But for what it was at the time, it makes me excited to see how much it's developed since part 1 when part 2 releases.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Like, I'm still very excited for part 2 despite everything that we've talked about.
For sure.
And because I don't know, you could like if someone told me the ending of part 1 and it's like, oh wow, that sucks, and then you just kind of play the game, but that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to see the journey to those major story beats that I've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm still looking forward to everything. It's not like my hope is gone and like I'm not going to enjoy my experience. Like, I think it's going to be a good time, and replaying part 1 has really just solidified that for me.
Yeah. Yep. 100% agree. 100% agree. Like it's nice to like come back and see where they're going to improve in part 2, seemingly, or get to like play how they will improve, you know,
right,
in part 2. But it's great. I can't wait to see Bill again. I can't wait to see Pittsburgh again as well. That's gonna be next week. Yeah, I can't wait. So next week, definitely check us out where we go over week 2's parts. The replay series schedule should have been on screen this whole time. If not, check out Twitter down below in the description at PSSource Vids, where you can see the full schedule for our Last of Us replay series. And once again, if you don't have the game for some reason and you just want to watch it, feel free to watch my streams Wednesday night on the channel. We go over that week's given part of the game, and then we talk about it, and then it goes up on Saturday for Road to Part 2. So next week we are covering Billstown and then Pittsburgh as well. So yeah. Do you Arachknight, where can the people find you?
You can find me on the PlayStation Source Discord under the same name. Very active there. We always have a good time talking about games and where we're playing and our thoughts on like just pretty much everything. Like, it's a very free Discord, for lack of a better phrase, on what you can talk about and what you want to discuss, assuming that it's, you know, like reasonable to talk about. Like, can't just talk about, you know, anything.
Yeah, I mean, I like to keep it gaming in there,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes
Keep it gaming.
Yeah, there's sometimes some interesting topics get brought up there for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah, you can find all of us there. Like it's like an active Discord. All of us are always talking, so you can find me there. My Twitter will be in the description underneath. If you ever want to talk comic books or video games or anything like that, I'd love to talk about that stuff. Like I could talk about this stuff all day, honestly. So yeah, that's it for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, you can follow me at the KDIaz123 on Twitter, THEKDIAZ123, as well as, of course, Poison Source Discord, link below in the description. Poison Source Twitter, link below in the description, as well as if you're watching this on YouTube and want to watch this or listen to it on the podcast service, you can click our anchor link down below in the description to listen to all of our long form content in podcast format. That, of course, being Saves a Lot Podcast, as well as this show, Road to Part 2. So if it's not too late to jump on the old, game schedule. If you want to follow along with us as we go through The Last of Us and Left Behind DLC in preparation for Last of Us Part 2. So thank you for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as stay subscribed to Poison Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.